Hello everyone. So today let's talk about Docker a bit. We will try to understand what Docker is, and also we will try to execute few commands which is pretty much needed for any of the activity or any of process or implementation which you want to do in Docker. And we will do based on Red Hat Enterprise Linux operating system. And in case if you like this video, just let me know in a couple of or any specific topic which you want to learn in Docker so that I'll cover that part also. Okay. So this operating system which I'm using as of now is Amazon Linux. How will you know? I mean, normally if you launch, you will for sure get to know. But in case if you do have already virtual machine up and running, how will you know which operating system it belongs to? So I'm being a root user, getting a root user privileges. Normally in industry, when you join any organization, you do have elevated privileges. So you no need to be root user to execute few of the command. But since it's a lab-based virtual machine, automatically any of the ID which is created won't have elevated privileges. So I'm just assigning some elevated privileges to this ID by becoming a root user. Now, in order to see which operating system this virtual machine belong to, because now you see, I cannot see which operating system this virtual machine belongs to, right? But now, in case if I have to see which operating system this virtual machine belongs to with entire detail, I'll just execute the command etc os dash release. So this is the command cat etc os release. And by this, I will get to know that this is Amazon Linux operating system. Okay, so already it's the I've created the virtual machine. Now let's talk about Docker and let's see how Docker can be installed. Let me first check in case if Docker is installed, I'll remove it and I'll try to reinstall. In order to check if Docker is installed, I'll execute the command yum-list docker and it says installed packages. So already Docker is installed. So I'll try to remove this. Then again, I will install. So in order to remove, I'll execute the command yum remove. Yum is the package manager which we normally use for Amazon based operating system or Red Hat operating system or in CentOS. So yes, I'm using yum. In case if you are using Ubuntu operating system, you will use apt. Okay, which stands for Advanced Packaging Tool. Now I'm using Yum as the package manager, being it a Red Hat Enterprise Linux operating system machine. So I'll remove Docker first, Yum remove Docker, and I'll put a flag -y, and it's removing. Now see, installation of Docker is just a single command, friends. So in order to install Docker, I'll execute the command yum install Docker and we'll put a Y flag. And as I put a Y flag, it automatically goes and tries to install Ubuntu. Now see, it's trying to install Ubuntu, install Docker. And since Docker is already installed now, I will just check by executing one of the Docker command. It says that connect to the Docker daemon. Is the Docker daemon running? So basically it says that you have installed Docker, but you did not start Docker services. And in order to start Docker services, I will execute the command systemctl start Docker. So this will be step one. If you want to do anything on Docker, if you want to install Docker, these steps will be first few steps which you have to execute. And as I execute this, after that, again, if I execute Docker ps command, you see, it's not giving any error, right? Now, next thing is Docker is installed. Fine. So now after that, what you have to do, you know what Docker is used for. Docker is used for creating containers. And in order to create containers, it's pretty much important that you should have images present with you. How you will get images? For sure, in order to get images, you have to log into Docker Hub and you have to pull images from there, right? So now in case if you do not have access to or if you do not want to log into Docker Hub and if you want to see what all images are available, you can just come to this place and execute few of the command. Okay, so you have this Docker installed now. Now, in case if you want to run any of the container, what you will do is you will go and you will search for the images which you can use in turn to create the container. Now, in order to pull the images, first you should have access to Docker Hub. But in case if you don't have access to Docker Hub, don't worry. You execute the command docker search and type the image which you want to pull. Now, since this is a Red Hat based operating system, I'll just use a basic Ubuntu image and I will show you how I can execute any of Ubuntu specific commands in a virtual machine which is completely Red Hat based. So I'll search for Ubuntu image and I'll type Docker search Ubuntu. And as I type Docker search Ubuntu, it gives me a list of images. It will be even more if you go onto Docker Hub and if you search for Ubuntu image in Docker Hub, it will be even more. But now since I executed command locally on my CLI, it's just showing these many images as of now. But if you can notice for few of the images, it says official as okay and starts as this. So for those images for which it says official as okay, these are official images of Docker. And when I say official images of Docker, these are verified by Docker as the vendor themselves. Okay. Now, in case if you want to pull this image, which is Ubuntu image, and to create images, what you will do, or to create container from images, first thing you will do is you will pull image from Docker Hub. For that, you execute the command docker pull, and you provide the name of image which you want to pull. As of now, I want to pull Ubuntu image, so I'll just use Ubuntu. And if you want to type it, paste it, and I'm pasting it for now and hit enter. As you hit enter, as you can see, it's pulling something. After pull completes, it says that downloaded newer image for Ubuntu colon latest. Now, if I execute Docker images command, it says that these are a couple of important commands in Docker. This command says how many images you have pulled as of now. So as of now, I have pulled only one image, which is Ubuntu. The version is the tag. Say in case if you do have older version of Ubuntu image, that will come with the tag number. As of now, I have pulled the latest version of Ubuntu image, which is created 11 days ago, and the size is 77.8 MB only. Now you can just relate the difference between one virtual machine and one Ubuntu or any of the container or any of the image. For creation of or for launching any virtual machine, you need one OSI file. That OSI file size itself is approximately 3 GB, 4 GB, sometimes more than that. But for Ubuntu container launch, you have pulled one image whose size is just 77.8 MB. So this is one of the advantage of using Ubuntu over using container over virtual machine, because size which a container occupies is very, very less. Though you can increase the size or automatically it increases the size on demand. As you pushes in any of the file there in container, automatically it expands, though you can set some restriction so that one container do not utilize all the resources which is available on virtual machine. But yes, if you do not set any restriction, any limit, one container can occupy a huge amount of space on your virtual machine. But as of now, you have just created the image, you did not run the container. Now in order to run the container, you or in order to check if any container is running, you will execute the command docker ps-a, which is Docker processes, which is uh, up and running or not even up and running. Not it's just it's created but not up yet. For that, you execute docker ps-a with a -a flag, which says that whatever Docker container you have available, either up, running, exited, whatever the status that container do have, everything will be visible with this command. After that, you execute the command. In case if you want to create any container or launch any container, you will be able to launch Image we have pulled. Now what we have to do is we have to create the container. Now in order to create the container, I will execute the command docker run, because in order to create the container, what we have to do is we have to run the image. So we type the command, execute the command docker run, and give the name of the image, which is Ubuntu. Now it did something because you got the prompt back. That basically means that it did something at the back end. Now, if I see what is the thing which it did, it says that it has created the container, but you see the status of container is exited. Exited state means that the container is created, but the container is not up and running. So in order to bring the container up and running, you use certain other flag. You say docker run dash itd, which basically means run the image to create the container. So the container will run as a daemon. D stands for daemon. At the backend, it will run. And you provide the name of the image. And now you see it gives some image, a container ID. And if you execute docker ps-a command, it says that the container is up for 7 seconds. Now you see the difference. Now this is one Ubuntu container. In order to enter into the container, you execute the command docker attach dash it, and you give the container ID, and or you just don't need to use it, just pass on the container ID, and now you see I've entered into the container. I'm logged in into the container as a root user. Now this I was showing you at the beginning itself that this virtual machine is a Red Hat virtual machine where apt package manager does not work, where yum was the package manager which was working. So if I type yum here, it says that yum command not found. Why it says yum command not found? Because this container is a Ubuntu container, right? As you can see, the image which is used is Ubuntu. And now if I say cat etc os dash release, it says that it is Ubuntu 22.04.2 LTS, which is the latest version of Ubuntu. Yes. So this is the way you will create image. This is the way you will pull image. Sorry, you're not creating image as of now. This is the way you will pull image, and this is the way you will create the container from the image. Okay, that is all for now. In this video, we'll talk more about Ubuntu containers in our upcoming videos. Let me know how did you like this session. In case if you have any other preference, please post in the comment section so that I will create videos accordingly, and that will be helpful for you. Thank you, everyone.